It's a new documentary called A Song for Cesar. My hermano Abel Sanchez is spearheading that project. He's back here on Comunidad del Valle. Welcome back to the show, brother. I saw the trailer. We're going to show clips of the trailer that y'all sent us, and boy, it keeps you riveted. You want to stay and watch the entire documentary. I mean, you have some great images, some great sound bites with this guy right here, Carlos Santana, and I mean, anybody, when we think of Movimiento, we do think of the music that went along with the Movimiento. And you've brought all the players together who had their hands on the Movimiento music. Tell us about that.
Correct. Well, we've been very blessed with that because there were so many people involved in the initial movement, and they, so we kind of, one thing led to another in the involvement of the documentary, and so-and-so would say, hey, you should talk to Carlos, or you should talk to Joan Baez, you know, because they were all involved, and so were we, and it brought the recollection of the period when Cesar was actually the boycotts and the strikes, and the music and the musicians were supporting that through benefits to help the movement, help Cesar, you know, pay, you know, and help these people to have some meals while they're boycotting and doing all this, you know, extra work to try to get better conditions, naturally, as we know.
Right.
And so there was a wonderful period, you know, all the music supporting it and all these artists, you know, and the energy was fantastic. And Cesar would show up at times at the concerts, you know, and that was wonderful because he addressed the group, and there's so much power involved in addition to what he brought to the table was so great, but to see all these people that were participating, and that's what we've done with this documentary. It evolved out of an idea, initial idea. In fact, we were with you with Jorge Santana and myself when we started with one song for Cesar.
You did it acoustically for us in our other studio a while back.
And that was the seed, if you will, of this particular documentary. And like I say, it's evolved into all these beautiful people that have come aboard and said, yeah, we're there. We were there then, and we're there now,
well,
and
I mean,
be there.
It helped that you're a rock and roller from San Francisco. You have those connections there. But I would imagine that it wasn't hard to convince the Santanas, both brothers, and El Chicano and the Tierra guys to say, hey, I need you to talk about Cesar. Yeah,
no, it wasn't hard at all. In fact, they were honored, and you know, Cesar holds a special place in all their hearts as well. So it was very easy. You know, once we made the calls, you know, we were a little hesitant at first, you know, and really after one or two calls, you know, it was like we realized, wait a minute, yeah, this is an honor. This is a beautiful thing to participate. So everybody was just so happy to be aboard and kind of relive that. And also for today, it's so important today, the generations that have disconnected in a sense, and we're trying to permeate the legacy.
That's awesome. You know, well, Abel was kind enough to send us a 4.5-minute trailer for the documentary. We're going to show it to you in its entirety at the end of the show, so you want to make sure you're tuned in for that. How long do you think it's going to be? You're still raising money to kind of finish the project? Where are we at right now?
Correct. Well, we've got all the content, and that's when the idea came. We need to finish it. We've got a few months, probably the end of the year. But what we're doing in the meantime now is fundraiser time, because this has been done all kind of grassroots from the beginning and from the heart, and everybody's just come together on that level. But we've run out of heart and grassroots, so to speak. Well, not so much heart, but money. So what we're doing is fundraisers, events, some concerts. As a matter of fact, kind of revisiting what was done back in the day and bringing all these folks together to support concerts to raise funds to finish the documentary. So it's a quality piece that people will enjoy and will reach many people. We wanted to, because it's primarily an educational tool to reach the generations today. So that's why we want to do a real nice job at the end. So it's going to take us a few months now. We're in the post-production end of it.
Oh, got it. How long do you think it's going to be, and where do you want to showcase it ideally?
Well, ideally, we're PBS is on the plate right now. It's an initial possibility. First of all, it's going to colleges, schools, and educational. That's our main initial goal, and still remains an objective, important, most important actually. And then we go to PBS, you know, which is great. And then people have been talking about, well, you know, HBO would be a great outlet as well. So we're ready to shoot the moon. Whatever,
why not?
Yeah, whatever it can do, the more people it reaches, the better.
Let's show you some of those images again, if you will, because when you look back at those images, Abel, does it bring back a lot of that nostalgia of what Cesar did and sacrifices he made and the people who backed him up?
Oh yeah, that's really what drove the heart, you know, our hearts to see that, and if we can help in any way, and all these artists and musicians and people that were part of it, that's why they're on board. We see those images and we say, and it still continues today, as we know. So any way we can continue to help, the movement, the UFW, the Cesar Chavez Foundation, because that's what the whole goal of this thing is, to continue to help those folks that work so hard to put food on our tables and nourish our spirit.
And I always tell folks that when we go out in the fields with our cameras, the cameras can show you the work that they're doing, but the lens can't show you the aches in their backs or the dust inside their eyelids. I mean, it's all there, and what Cesar did to make their lives a little bit better can't be taken for granted.
That's correct. It's beautiful, that, and let us not forget the great lady, La Señora Dolores Huerta, and she's very much a part of this.
And you wrote a song about her también.
Yeah, también. Oh yeah, we have to honor she's our reina,
La madrina,
the godmother.
So we have the information. Tell us about the fundraising event. This is in Sacramento, so it's a short drive from San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland.
Correct, and it really be worthwhile so to come support this, so we can, as we say, finish the documentary in our time perspective. And it'll be, we're having a lot of these, we're having clips of the documentary, so it's like a trailer and previews. We'll be viewing that at the Crest Theater, and then also a concert performance by what we're calling the Si Se Puede All-Star Review.
Wow. I can imagine who that's going to be.
Yeah, so we got a whole guest of surprises, so we're excited about that. We're very excited.
I mean, you're talking about colleges, and that's where it is right now. We have about 20 seconds. Talk about how important it is to educate the youth on what it meant back then and what it still should mean now.
That's probably the most important thing, is to educate the youth of the sacrifice that their parents and ancestors and many of our gente, that's what it's all about. We want them to internalize that and to capture those core values that Cesar Chavez, he was about. He taught so many beautiful core values, and that's what we want to instill, that they too can be, leaders and lead for, the betterment of humanity. Help, our fellow man.
Very well put. Abel, thank you so much, brother, for coming back. Again, we're going to watch the documentary, or the trailer of this documentary in its entirety when we continue. Stay with us. Also, follow me on Twitter. My handle is @NewsDamien. Also, pick up a copy of El Observador newspaper and support your bilingual weeklies all across the Bay Area. We thank you again for sharing a part of your Sunday with us once again. Now, here is the trailer to A Song for Cesar, the documentary. Buenas tardes.
He was a walking lesson. And being around him, it was action.
Cesar Chavez, to me, was one who didn't just talk about it. He put his life on the line for what he believed.
And I remember him clearly saying, somebody ought to do something about this. This is not right. Somebody ought to do something about it. Not knowing that 4 years later, he was going to be the one that was going to be doing something about it. And that's how it started.
Traveled 700 miles, crossed the border to the States.
If this is what it takes to build a union, a free and democratic union, and a good union for good people, we're willing to do it.
The power of persistence.
Si se puede, si se puede, si se puede. He wouldn't take no for an answer.
He had a strong sense of the injustice that farm workers had in our society and what to do about it, and he kept with it.
He did it with so much grace, so much class, and so much tenderness, but with a lot of conviction.
People who are in the face of discomfort and sadness and tragedy, and yet they stand up, strong, and they say, I am not going to give up, and I am going to fight for what I believe in, and my family, and who I am.
I was just always hearing horror stories about what's going on, and then all of a sudden this Cesar Chavez shows up and things are getting done.
And I met with Cesar in this little office in Delano, and I told Cesar, I want to be a photographer for the union. He says, no. We have Joan Baez available. We want you to go out and do concerts and fundraisers. So I said, okay.
We use music for the movement.
As a young teenager, I used to play for the farm workers in small rallies that they used to do. This was in the 70s. We used to play when he would come up in a station wagon, an old station wagon, get up and speak.
The young generation was ready to go, especially after the Chicano movement came out. Everybody got all gung-ho about, doing something, for our people.
Pretty soon, all these bands were involved in playing these concerts. They called them the Farm Workers Benefits. And a lot of great bands, Us, Azteca, Malo, Cold Blood, Boz Skaggs, Taj Mahal. I think, the times affected the music, and the music affected the times.
As Chicanos, we were looking for some identity. And that music was something that we could call our own.
You'd have 15,000 people at Spartan Stadium, and then you have Cesar speaking to them.
I wouldn't have wanted to be part of any movement that didn't have music.
As I walk this land, amazed at what I see.
His dreams, his hopes, his desires, his work will live as long as we who are alive keep it alive.
He brought a change of courage, awareness, but mainly justicia y igualdad.
The world should know about Cesar, and music is a great vehicle to express our feelings, our thoughts. So Cesar should be remembered and recognized for his good deeds worldwide. There's farm workers and Indios all over the world, man.
As long as there's 1 ounce of strength in our body, that ounce of strength will be used to fight for this good cause. And in the end,